Edmund Jennings Randolph was the seventh governor of Virginia, the first United States Attorney General, and the second Secretary of State. In 1779, Edmund Randolph was elected to the Continental Congress and, in November of 1786, was elected governor of Virginia. He was also elected to the Annapolis Convention in 1786. Randolph was instrumental in the presentation of the Virginia Plan for the Constitution to the Continental Congress, and as the Richmond Ratification Convention of 1788 became deadlocked on ratification, Governor Randolph proposed that the ratification of the federal Constitution would place the states in a closer federal relationship with and to each other, with ultimate authority to oversee the federal government's performance. On September 26, 1789, Edmund Randolph was appointed Attorney General of the United States, a position in which he served until the resignation of Thomas Jefferson as Secretary of State in 1794, at which point in time he was appointed to that position by President Washington, and remained Secretary of State until his resignation in 1795. Historically, Randolph is most remembered for the scandal surrounding his resignation as Secretary of State in 1795. But before that, one should understand how Randolph became Secretary of State. In 1775, Randolph became associated with future President George Washington after serving as aide-de-camp to the then General Washington in Boston after declining to follow his Loyalist father's flight to England. During this time, he became friends with General Washington, and when he was elected president, Washington appointed him to Attorney General of the United States. While serving in Washington's cabinet, Thomas Jefferson was quoted as saying of Randolph, "The poorest chameleon I have ever saw, having no color of his own and reflecting nearest him. When he is with me, he is a Whig. When with Hamilton, he is a Tory. When with the President, he is that which he thinks will please him." After Jefferson's resignation as Secretary of State, President Washington knew that he needed to keep the cabinet balanced and appointed Randolph to that position. While initially reluctant to accept the appointment, he was influenced by Washington looking to him for special assignments such as handling his personal legal affairs and looking after Martha while the president was out of town. While serving as Secretary of State, Randolph managed the settlement of the Citizen Genet affair. He resumed talks with Spain and assisted in the negotiation of the 1795 Treaty of San Lorenzo, opening the Mississippi River to U.S. navigation. Randolph would serve as Secretary of State from January 2, 1794 to August 20, 1795, the date in which he resigned his position clouded in controversy and accusations of corruption. Randolph was accused of taking bribes from the French government, and after his resignation, he never spoke with his once good friend George Washington again. He was also successfully sued by the government for suspected unauthorized expenses while in office. The results of the lawsuit ended up leaving him bankrupt. More recent reviews of the lawsuit against Edmund Randolph have revealed that antiquated accounting practices that showed he may not have misspent government funds. However, to this day, Edmund Randolph's innocence is still unproven in the mind of history. After his resignation, Randolph resumed his large law practice and, in 1807, served as senior counsel for Aaron Burr in his treason trial. Randolph then wrote a manuscript on the history of the Revolution in Virginia and died September 12, 1813.